is February 2nd, 2022, Groundhog Day. I'm not here talking about the Groundhog, though. I'm here talking about a DVD spotlight. Now, I didn't even put two and two together. I was going to do this last week, but then I just kind of wound up rewatching the movie last night. I've watched it a couple of times. As you can see the thumbnail, that movie would be Sid and Nancy. Another Alex Cox film. This is the second Alex Cox film I did. This is the second movie he did, too. Yeah, this is like, you could say it's almost like a love story, semi-quasi documentary of the Sex Pistols. I remember the Sex Pistols when they came about. You see, I have to look back there. I was like 11, 10. But I went out and got the album. Or I got my mother to get the album. Just because I wanted to hear it, all that cursing and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, that was like in the late 70s. So I remember when it happened. I remember it was in the news, and it was a big deal. And not just because it was in New York. It was at the Chelsea Hotel that he killed Nancy Spungen, I think her name is. Simply with us as Spungen, but it was Spungen. And then, yeah, I think he was just so adamant he didn't remember doing it. They were both kind of quasi-violent people. But, like I said, this is the movie here. It's got the movie in it, the trailers. It comes with an additional disc, which I'm playing here, with original interviews of the Pistols and Sid and Nancy themselves, and, you know, their debauched glory. This is Gary Oldman, who played Sid in the movie, which was his first movie role. This is from '86. And that's Chloe Webb, who did an outstanding job. I kind of imagine that's exactly what she was like. There's a little book and about this. They were doomed from the beginning. They were two really broken people. Some additional pictures. And you can see that little clip I posted before the movie. But this movie came out in '86. I actually went to see it in the movies. I think it was a movie theater in 13th Street in New York. It was on the east side, I believe. I forget which side it was on. Quad City, I think it was Quad, something like that. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. We went and saw the movie. I went with my girlfriend at the time, Kim. I haven't spoken to her in 30 years. But yeah, it's good. It was a good movie. Enjoyed it. I remember a lot of people being there. I think we were a few people there. It was like an independent movie. I remember we did walk down to 8th Street after that, and then over to Bleecker Street. Went to Bleecker Bob's, and I actually saw that same week that this was released, Billy Idol released Whiplash Smile. Another one of the people from that whole scene. Yeah, so I picked that up, just a little side note. But the movie is good. What's weird, they were just hardcore junkies. And believe me, I've met many people like Sid and Nancy. Mostly Nancy. I've met many Nancys in my life. That whole, the whole methadone thing. It hits home because you're really like, ooh, okay. Very accurate depiction of that. You know, the whole, it's a tragic story, but it's very well done. It's very dreamlike. It's a very dreamlike movie where even the end, where obviously, spoiler alert, Sid dies. You know, he died the day after he got out on bail. And Alex Cox recreates it in a, like almost an hallucinatory scene with young hip-hop kids in a taxi cab with Nancy in it, and they, I guess, go off to heaven or hell, I don't know. And it was the barren landscape. You see Sid walking past the Twin Towers, which is kind of weird. It's like some fog over it. Almost looks like smoke. Very weird. I see these little impressions of predictive programming, should I say. But yeah, I would suggest you go out and watch this. Maybe I'll do another Cox film, Straight to Hell. I don't know. But this great, cool movie, man. Brings, and it shows that late '70s gritty New York, which I remember growing up in. It was that gritty New York that went probably well up into like 1990 with the graffiti on the subways, garbage everywhere, and the hookers and druggies and the pimps and the dealers all over the place. That's New York. Had a kind of charm to it, though. You knew where to go, where not to go, and what time to go, and what time not to go. And now, what is it? It's not. I don't know what you would call it now. I don't know. New York's a Potemkin village. It's just a facade of bullshit. It's just fake. But yeah, watch Sid and Nancy, man. Because actually today, like I said, is the 43rd anniversary of Sid's death. Yeah, he died on February 2nd, 1979. By the way, his mother killed him. She gave him the death shot. He was in prison for a while, so his whole system was clean. And that's like one of the most fatal mistakes that junkies do. They come out and they think they could do the same amount that they were doing always. And then it just takes them out over and over. And it's seen it happen. But, yeah, Sid and Nancy, go watch it. It's a good movie. I think you'll like it. It's a good period piece about the punk scene, the origins of the Sex Pistols. It's also a little time capsule of a look into New York in the late 70s and that whole druggy scene, the Chelsea Hotel, just little landmarks that you see there. Max's Kansas City, which I went to a couple of times. Most notably, I saw a group called Von Elmo. Yeah, Von Elmo. And it wasn't the Nazi Elmo from Sesame Street. It was Von Elmo. That was an interesting. Max's Kansas City. We were young. I think we were just young when we used to go there. That's another place that's gone. But Max's Kansas City, that whole thing. Soundtrack done by Joe Strummer from The Clash. He does the whole soundtrack, other than the songs that were licensed. Like he does the song at the end, "Love Kills," which was originally supposed to be the title to the song, to the movie, but they just found it. They weren't really with it. The studios that funded the movie. So Alex Cox, was in contact with Joe Strummer, and he did all the songs under different names because whoever he was in signed with label would only let him do the one song, so he just made up a bunch of fake names and did the music behind it. But anyway, yeah, so Alex Cox did a lot of research. He interviewed a lot of people behind this, how Sid and Nancy met, because she was from, like, Long Island, I think. She's from Long Island, a Jewish girl from Long Island. I think she was Jewish. Jewish girl from Long Island who was kind of like schizophrenic, and she just became immersed in rock and roll. Apparently, she was a very smart individual, which tends to happen to him, but they're just so crazed. So, they died young. He was 21, she was 20. She died like a couple of months before Sid died. So, yeah, tragic story. I guess you could look at it as like a romantic love story in some perverse manner. But there you go. Sid and Nancy, on the anniversary of his death today, 43 years ago. So he's been dead over twice as long as he was alive, and they still talk about this dude. Amazing, right? I guess that was the fascination with debauchery and immorality and just bad behavior. I don't know. Today would be a normie, for God's sakes. But anyway, I digress. Peace. Have a wonderful day. Go watch Sid and Nancy.